Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane, right back into the highly nostalgic world of classic Hindi childhood rhymes. Now, we've all hummed these catchy little tunes at some point, right? But today, we aren't just going to sing them. We're actually going to unpack their hidden educational brilliance. Because, as it turns out, these simple, innocent little songs were some of the most sophisticated, foundational tools for early childhood cognitive development. Get ready to realize that your absolute earliest memories were literally masterclasses in logic, science, and essential life skills. Let's dive in.
So here is how we're breaking this down. We've basically got 4 foundational classrooms to explore today. First up, the world of nature and animals. Then, travel, vehicles, and navigating life. Third, we'll look at good habits and daily routines. And finally, we'll cover the very first lesson of the Hindi alphabet.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the world of nature and animals.
You probably remember the classic "Main Tota," the "I am a parrot" rhyme. Well, it effortlessly introduces color recognition to a toddler. By specifically pointing out green, "Hara rang ka hu dikhta," and the red of the beak, it moves way beyond just abstract concepts and anchors those colors to a living, breathing creature. But it actually goes a step further than that. When the parrot sings about mimicking everyone, it subtly introduces children to the concept of observational learning. It teaches them that watching and mimicking behaviors is a totally fundamental way to interact with the world around them.
And then we have the absolute legend, Machli Jal Ki Rani Hai. This is essentially a toddler's very first lesson in basic biology and ecosystem dependency. The fish is the queen of water, water is her life. This plants a core scientific concept in a young developing mind, cause and effect. Take the fish out of the water? No way, it just cannot survive. It firmly cements the idea that water is the absolute irreplaceable life source for aquatic creatures. It's literally laying down the groundwork for understanding habitats and environmental science.
Now think about the famous thirsty crow narrative. Look at how it breaks down into this brilliant step-by-step logic. A crow sees a pot from afar. The pot has very little water. So the crow drops pebbles into it. And what happens? The water rises. This isn't just a cute story about a bird. It's a brilliant mini-lesson in early critical thinking and basic physics. Dropping solid pebbles into a confined space raises the liquid level. Long before these kids ever step foot into a high school science lab, they're already grasping the fundamentals of volume, displacement, and active problem solving through this simple progression.
Moving right along to Section 2, Travel, Vehicles, and Life.
Check out this comparison. We've got the train on one side and the plane on the other. Notice how these rhymes use totally distinct auditory and sensory experiences to explain modern transportation to kids. The heavy, rhythmic chuck, chuck, chuck grounds the train on physical tracks, right? While the light, airy jup, jup, jup perfectly mimics a plane swiftly cutting through the clouds. This sharp contrast teaches children to differentiate between vehicles not just by how they look, but by the unique sounds they make and the specific physical environments they navigate.
Okay, this one is just hilarious when you think about it. Imagine this incredibly awkward situation. A tiny butterfly boards a bus, can't find a seat, and the bus conductor tells her to come sit next to him. Her immediate response, "Hot badmash." She's essentially telling him to back off and calling him a scoundrel. Beyond the pure comedy of a bug fighting with a human on public transit, this is actually a fantastic early lesson in personal boundaries. It cheekily teaches kids how to navigate public spaces, recognize inappropriate behavior, and firmly stand their ground.
And look at this incredibly diverse cast of characters. A monkey running a grocery store gets visited by a cat, a frog, an elephant, and a bear, all coming to buy different things. The Bonderne Koli Dukan rhyme playfully introduces the fundamentals of basic commerce and community interaction. It paints a picture of a bustling, interconnected society where different individuals gather to trade, interact, and fulfill their daily needs. It takes the whole concept of a local marketplace and makes it totally digestible and fun for a toddler.
All right, into Section 3 now, Good Habits and Daily Routines.
We all know the struggle of getting kids to stick to a schedule, right? Well, the Raz Saveri rhyme explicitly lays out a toddler's entire daily routine, from morning to night. Waking up, doing daily chores, studying, not fighting, washing hands, playing, and finally getting to sleep. It essentially serves as a super effective daily planner. By setting these expectations to a catchy rhythm, it completely removes the friction of parents constantly having to bark orders. Instead, it internalizes time management, personal hygiene, and peaceful behavior, making the child actually want to follow the sequence.
Then you have Lal Tomater, which tackles health and nutrition in the smartest way possible.
It promises kids that eating round red tomatoes brings energy and vitality. It's basically a guarantee that if you eat healthy red veggies, your cheeks will become just as red and healthy. It is a brilliant psychological tool. Rather than framing vegetables as this boring, gross obligation, it markets them to children as a magical source of strength and good looks. It instantly makes healthy eating a super appealing choice.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the first lesson of the Hindi alphabet.
Just look at the pedagogy at play when mapping out the Hindi alphabet. Abstract phonetic sounds like A, Ah, and I are perfectly paired with incredibly tangible, everyday objects like pomegranates, mangoes, and tamarind. A young brain really struggles to retain abstract concepts, but by linking these completely invisible phonetic sounds to things they can actually touch, see, and taste, memory retention skyrockets. It's associative learning executed absolutely perfectly.
But here is the best part. Even at the very end of the vowel sequence, they manage to sneak in a highly practical life lesson. The rhyme concludes with Aha se khali, utna khao jitni thali, which basically means take only as much food as your plate can hold. Right in the middle of a foundational linguistics lesson, it seamlessly drops in a crucial message about portion control, gratitude, and not wasting food. It just proves that every single line in these songs was crafted with a very specific purpose.
So, what does this all mean? How much do these simple, catchy childhood rhymes actually shape our adult mindsets? It's a pretty fascinating question to ponder, isn't it? These weren't just random tunes we sang to pass the time on the playground. They were literally the fundamental blueprints of our learning. They taught us how the physical world works, how to navigate society, how to stay healthy, and how to communicate. Hopefully you can look back at those early childhood memories now with a completely renewed appreciation for the incredible educational foundation they provided. Thanks for exploring this explainer with us, and as always, keep that curiosity alive.